I'm Alan Levine, and I'm out here in the open. I want to thank Jonathan for inviting me to this video series. I just watched bits of most of all the other videos and noticed that everybody was sitting indoors. Maybe it's the weather where you are, but I can't really skip an advantage to talk about openness in a space because openness, as we try to quantify it, has no physicality but metaphor and the things we think about it do that I think are important. I'm here on a mountain overlooking the town of Kamloops, British Columbia, a place that was settled by First Nations people, had a thriving civilization before Europeans got here and decided to change things up and move things around. And now, of course, it's a modern city, Thompson River University, where I've been spending the last 4 months. But I think of openness, it helps me to be in this open space because it has a context and it gives me perspective, and it helps me realize that there's a lot of this that is quite beyond me, but yes, I can still try to make a little sense of it. For anybody who's probably been to my favorite open terrain in my neighborhood, the Grand Canyon, pictures of it are beautiful, but nothing compares to the experience of being in it, and the same goes for openness. So, in coming up here, I came up over a hill, maybe questionable terrain. I had to sort of consider my own capabilities, limitations, things I can control, like my equipment. So I did wear some pretty good hiking boots, and I didn't bring water because it was just a short trip. Probably not smart. I came up here a couple months ago in the winter, and it was pretty treacherous and slippery, and probably not the smartest thing to do. There is risk in openness, and we balance what we control and what we can't control. I was taken by listening to Nishant's video where he talked about the difficulty about defining openness, the vagueness of it, the lack of the ability to make it something tangible. And as he was describing it, I thought of another hard to define concept that many of us probably struggle with, something quite different, and that's love. You know, how can we actually define love? We know it when we feel it. We risk a lot for it. We do stupid things in pursuit of it. We generally love it when we're in the middle of it, so to speak. But it's not anything that you can actually find really a rounded, well-based definition for it. Is that a problem? I don't think so. And, maybe it is for openness. And so, there's a lot of really good people. Audrey's really continual conversation on the vulnerability and things that we haven't really been thinking of in the years of promoting open education, open resources, etc. The commentary Nishant said, what Corey spoke of in terms of the fear of neoliberalism, this is all real stuff. And this is valuable to be having this right now because it hasn't been part of the conversation, or at least stuff that I've heard of, for my years in this education technology business. So it's really great to be part of this conversation. At the same time, I wonder, because I guess I'm kind of one of these optimists. You put a few drops of water in a glass, and I'm going to say it's partly full. I've seen a lot of good happen out of openness and open sharing. And I really go back to something that I got from my colleague Nancy White when I was asking people about the virtues of openness. And she said, things like open source and open educational resources, those are really good things, but that's not everything. It's really about attitudes that we have. And maybe that's why it's kind of complex to describe. What does it mean to have an open attitude in this work we do? And considering everything that we have to worry about. So it's not about being blind-eyed to all these things. And we need more of this conversation and probing and questioning about things that are even beyond unfair. I just watched Citizen4 over the weekend. I came out of the movie theater ready to throw my phone in the trash can, but I didn't. But this is the reality that we live in. It's got both risk and reward. And so what do we do with this? Heck, I don't know. An interesting side thought about privacy today. And I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but we're aware of privacy when something breaks, when it's violated, when something comes up that has abused it. Are we ever aware of it when it's working for us? Do we ever just stop in the middle of the day or our work and reflect and say, damn, my privacy is just working like clockwork today. I feel really safe. We don't say that. I don't know if that means anything, but it says something about the challenges of dealing with it. But there's risk in everything worth going after. And what we have to do is continue to ask these questions, continue to probe it, continue to try and possibly mess up, make mistakes, and fight for this stuff, and not let other people speak for us. And, I'd have to say, as many negative things that there are to worry about, there is more vocal speaking out against these things, continuing with the work that we're doing right here of the realities of it, and not being blind-eyed to it. But I just want to say, there are some good things, and we all know this. The people in those videos, many who I've met, not all of them, but have interacted with, those interactions wouldn't have been possible without the openness of the internet. And we all gain from it in many ways. But not everything necessarily leads to solutionism and neoliberalism and exploitism and ism. So I just want to be maybe the lone voice of saying that I'm kind of up on openness. I think it's a groovy thing. And so, but, that doesn't mean I go about it blind to the stuff that's going on. So I want to hear it all. And so there are stuff we have to risk, and there is stuff we have to just get up on a mountain and try to see where we are in all this space. And sometimes say, hey, I don't know all the answers. That's all I got.